This seasonal book made well over $50,000 in just a few short weeks with very little work from the publisher. Hi guys, Thomas here, the founder of Bookbeam, the all-in-one software for increasing your book sales on Amazon. And in this video, I'll show you how a unique seasonal book niche makes well over $50,000, actually closer to $70,000 or $80,000 in a few short weeks. And I'll also show you how you can use seasonal book niches in your portfolio, in your publishing catalog, to increase your publishing sales and income. All right, so first off, what is a seasonal book niche? So a seasonal book or a seasonal book niche by most terms and definitions is a book that is centered around a specific holiday such as Christmas, Easter, Valentine's Day, Halloween, St. Patrick's Day, and so on. A specific holiday that is only in demand, only relevant for a certain number of weeks and days every year. So usually it's going to be in demand roughly 6 to 8 weeks before the actual holiday date. So for a holiday like Valentine's Day, for example, it could start being in demand end of December, beginning of January, and slowly rise all the way until February 14th. So the demand is quite significant, but it's there for a limited amount of time. So should your entire focus be on publishing seasonal books? No, definitely not. However, seasonal books can be a great addition or a great supplement to your publishing portfolio. So if we think about this, every single one of those holidays has a limited window of opportunity. So there's a limited amount of time when it is going to be relevant in demand every year. So again, 6 to 8 weeks or more in some cases before that actual holiday date. However, how you can play this is you can publish multiple books for several different seasonal niches. So for example, you can publish one or several books for Halloween, then it's Thanksgiving, then Christmas, then Valentine's Day, then St. Patrick's Day, then Easter. So as we go through the beginning of September all the way to the end of April, there's always going to be some seasonal book in your portfolio that is very high in demand because some seasonal holiday is coming up. And actually there are a few unique advantages for seasonal books. One of them is that there's generally less competition for seasonal books because again, there's that limited window of opportunity. So there's generally a lot less publishers that decide to focus on seasonal book niches. So that's one advantage that you can have. A lot of people just probably take a look at it and say, the demand is there only for a limited amount of time, maybe 2 months, I'm not going to bother. So that represents an opportunity if you're willing to do the work. And then number two is that once you do the work once, every next season, next holiday season, every next Easter, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, when the next holiday comes around the next year, you can do very little work and still take advantage of that huge spike of demand. So I can confirm this from my own experience actually. All I do is just turn on some ads, maybe do some light management, see how the different targets are performing, but there's very little work that has to be done and you can take advantage of that huge spike. It's really nice. But again, so you make that first investment, that first holiday, and then all the next holidays you can take advantage of all that surge and spike in demand for those seasonal holiday niches. So here are the major holidays or times of year around which you can do seasonal publishing, and here they are put on a calendar or a timeline. So first off, we have New Year's, the New Year's time. This is going to be all about new year, new me. So what's going to be in demand is things like vision boards, planners, then you're going to have journals, calendars, and similar. Then next up, we're going to have Valentine's Day, February 14th, then March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, then end of April or beginning of May. Some years is going to be Easter. Then we have Mother's Day and Father's Day. Then we have back to school, end of August or beginning of September. Actually, back to school is also relevant, beginning of January as well. Then we have Halloween, end of October, then Thanksgiving and Christmas. So around all of these, you can do some form of seasonal book publishing. And by the way, I think this is not quite a complete list. You could also add here some historic holidays like perhaps Independence Day or Black History Month. And similar, just so you know, there's some other ones besides these as well. One major challenge though with publishing seasonal books is how are you going to do research in advance? How are you going to do research for a time that you are not in? How are you going to research books that sell in Easter when it's currently July, when you're trying to prepare in advance as you should be? To solve that exact problem, we created the category history tool. So the category history tool is a tool that you get access with a Bookbeam account. And what it is we have saved data of the top selling books in specific points in time. So you can go back in time to Christmas, to Easter, to Valentine's Day, etc., to see what was selling the best in those points in time. So this is a great tool. It solves this exact problem very well. So here we are in Bookbeam's category history tool. We're in December 18th of 2023 in the big books, the main books top 100 category, and we can see the books that were selling the best during the big holiday sales rush. We can jump around the different category trees, but let's go to St. Patrick's Day. Here I'm clicking a shortcut to see what was selling the best during St. Patrick's Day, and here you can see it's thrown us to March 11th of 2024, which is one of the days leading up to St. Patrick's Day. And remember, you don't want to be looking at necessarily the actual holiday date, because most of the sales are happening leading up to that holiday. So a few days or up to a week before that actual holiday. So here we are on March 11th. St. Patrick's Day is March 17th. So here we can see several of the top selling books. And of course, you can kind of dig down and go down the different category trees. Here we see that already Easter is selling as well, because those two holidays, the demand for these two seasonal holiday niches overlaps, because Easter starts, the demand for Easter starts way in advance, and many of them tend to overlap. St. Patrick's Day also slightly overlaps with Valentine's Day and so on. So anyway, you can see, you can find a lot of great niches with just this side of this tool, the category history, which is essentially, you can go back and see the best-selling Amazon categories back in time. Then there's also the top 1,000 self-published books. Again, you can see the top self-published books in any point in time. So here I am on Christmas. I'm seeing the top selling self-published books last Christmas. We can go to Easter, what was selling the most in Easter. So we have a joke book. We have Try Not to Laugh, or like a Would You Rather type of book, and on and on. And here, lastly, we have also the top 1,000 seasonal. So here you can see which were the top selling seasonal books. So books that had a seasonal keyword inside of their title. So here, for example, these are all the books, not just out of self-published books, but out of all books with the keyword Easter, or with the word Easter inside their title, which were selling the most on March 26th. And we can also jump around different dates, see how the list changes or if it doesn't change. The free alternative to this would be the Wayback Machine. How you would use it is go to web.archive.org, copy the best-selling books, a link of the best-selling book categories on Amazon, and throw it into Wayback Machine. And it's going to show you all of the available snapshots for that specific URL. Do note that if you want to kind of explore these subcategories, it's not going to be very well populated. All right, and now, as promised, here is the book that makes upwards of $50,000 every in-demand season. Drumroll, please. Harvey the Heart That Had Too Many Farts, a farting picture book for kids. Now, as you can see here, was selling really well, went all the way up to 8 BSR bestsellers rank. So out of all books on Amazon, it was number 8 and selling hundreds and hundreds of copies every day. And by the way, if you're wondering how I arrived at that calculation, I used Bookbeam to extract BSR and estimated sales, and I got the royalty from our free royalty calculator. And here you go, here's made around 76,000. You can assume, let's say if it did roughly a third of that, let's say 33% was spent on ads, that's ads, then the profit would be this minus this, there we go, 51,000. Of course, we don't know 100% how much was spent on ads, but I would speculate that it's not that much, because this listing is really, really strong and people love this book. It's 4.8 stars out of 5, which is crazy. Out of 3,000 ratings, that's very rare. 4.8, that's very rare. So quite likely people love this book, which means that this publisher doesn't have to spend much on ads, because it converts, well, proportionally not that much on ads, because it converts very, very well. And by the way, picture books are not that difficult to make. Actually, the most difficult part is not the illustrations. You can actually find illustrators who will create for you the spread, the entire spread, which is both sides of kind of when you open the book, the spread would be both pages when it's open, so that's 2 pages. You can find illustrators who will quite affordably create you that entire spread, because the illustrations, as you can see on the cover, are quite simple actually. The hard part is creating like a really good story and really good rhymes that kind of make sense and resonate. That's where actually you have to spend more of your focus for these types of books. Here, by the way, in Easter, there's another one which had bestsellers rank of 134 to March 26th. So people like these types of humorous books, but perhaps you're like,
oh, I don't want to be creating no far books.
Well, don't worry, there's a lot of other niches that you can go in with this tool. There's like so many niches that you can find for I Spy, here you have I Spy, just general humor niches, word search, large print, Easter themed word search, dot marker, and so on. So there's a lot of ideas that you can get using Bookbeam's category history tool. All right, so that was how you can take advantage of seasonal book niches. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.